Dirigible Derby is awesome. I've been loving this game mode. I can't remember the last time I had this much fun in a brawling battleship. This is the perfect game mode. And it's so much better than the old attempts at getting people to push in. One of the biggest issues with random battles and standard game modes is there's very little incentive to push in as a big ship. Your destroyers are going to be contesting caps, and as a larger ship, you need to stand back and support them and, well, try and stay alive, really. If you decide to YOLO charge in, well, people are just going to kite away and probably kill you very quickly. In Dirigible Derby, everyone has to push, and I love it. I've been having a great time. I think this is easily the best game mode Wargaming has ever come up with. And it really comes down to making the target or escort blimp immune to damage. There's no way to kill it, and there's really no way to stop it either. The two arrows you can see at the top middle of your screen as we're absolutely crushing this Moskva. I think Ohio's easily one of the best ships you can play in this game mode. But the blimps not taking any damage is great. It gives you the opportunity to focus on key hostile ships that are player controlled. In the old convoy game mode, the strategy was to YOLO in, spot the convoy, and just kill the priority ships, the cargo ships, and just ignore the players. And, well, it didn't make for the most fun game, and one team had to defend and one team had to attack. This game mode gives both teams the opportunity to defend and attack at the same time. And of course, the paths being laid out gives you a lot of heads up on where the enemy team is going to go and allows you to position yourself in hopefully decent positions like this one here. I decided to push very aggressively, as you can see. We got pretty lucky with the Shimakaze torpedo gap there, and we still have a lot of HP. Now that we're up to these islands and none of the enemy team is on my broadside, or at least if they are, they're going to be behind islands, we get to hold the door, essentially. We're just going to be sitting here waiting for them to push around this island one by one and killing them. This is a great position to take, and we're going to get an amazing game out of it. But back to the game mode, I love that you're incentivized to push with the blimp if you spawn near it, and if you spawn near the end or on the opposite side of the blimp, you get to go attack the enemy team and try and soften up the defenses of the enemy team so your blimp has an easier ride to the finish. It's so much fun, and you're guaranteed to have people pushing into you. Otherwise, they're going to lose. And that's what makes it so fun. This feels like old World of Warships again, where people really didn't know better than to push in. And maybe there's some people that are playing this game mode that just sat broadside, and that's part of why we got a good game. I won't deny it. We got pretty lucky with who we were shooting at. We're getting a lot of Citadels this game. That Des Moines is hurting now because of the Ohio. But I love this game mode. I really hope it stays in the game for a long time, and I'd be really sad to see it go. Because there's a lot of ships in this game that can be a lot of fun, but are so focused on close range action that most of the time it's just better off to be playing a longer range focused ship that is going to be at an advantage more of the time for more of the match. So giving us a game mode that focuses so heavily on close range is really nice because it allows those close range ships to really shine in a way that I don't think they can in most random battle games. As for the Ohio, I think this ship is great in random battles, don't get me wrong. But there's ships like the Kurfürst and the new Preußen, which are actually really quite good in this game mode too, that tend to struggle in random battles because they have such a massive weak spot of their huge superstructure, and of course, well, poor dispersion at mid-range translates to awful dispersion at long range. And that's one of the reasons I think Ohio is still better in this game mode. It retains a lot of the tankiness you get with the German battleships, less so through sheer armor values, but having a fast cooldown heal on a Montana hull, which is already pretty tanky, gives you incredible staying power. Enough to rival, I would say, Kurfürst and Preußens. The secondaries are good enough to deal with these lower armor value ships like destroyers and some cruisers if they get close, and of course the main guns, as you can see, have absolutely been crushing people, even if they're angled. You get enough overmatch to deal with a lot of angled cruisers and ships. So I think Ohio is better than the Preußen, but not by much. I've just been getting a little frustrated with the Preußen, playing it and seeing some of the worst dispersion I've ever seen in this game. And even though it does have better dispersion characteristics than ships like Marlborough and Christopher Colombo, and same exact dispersion as Kurfürst, only having 8 shells in that kind of dispersion is rough. And I won't lie, it's been kind of frustrating to play that ship because I'm probably too used to Ohio having such good dispersion most of the time. So I think Preußen will grow on me as I play it more, but it's really difficult to compete with a ship like Ohio. And I suppose that's really the problem. Ohio is just so good that adding a ship that really competes with it would add another ship that's probably at the top end of the tier list, if we were to make one, on the power level of tier 10 battleships. So you can't always be adding the best of the best new ships to the game, which is good, but I do find that dispersion on the Preußen to be a little bit lacking compared to this. Obviously, we did get pretty lucky this match to deal with a lot of broadside ships, but there is an element of skill, I would say, in that I position myself in such a position and such a way to catch those broadsides. So a little luck, but also definitely skill when it comes to positioning. We get another broadside Yamato, and only one this time, but it's still 27,000 damage. I do get lucky the Shimakaze didn't decide to just YOLO me, but by this point, my teammates who had been pushing with our blimp have caught up and probably would have killed the Shimakaze off anyway. I've been really loving playing this off-flank role, having most of my teammates go with our blimp, and myself and maybe a few key ships like a destroyer or two to spot, maybe a cruiser to get some DPM in, to stall the enemy team on their pushing flank. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and this game was easily the best one in my first 2 or so days of playing Dirigible Derby. There's going to be more to come with this game mode because I am loving it. I don't know if I'm going to play anything else other than this game mode, to be honest, because you're not dealing with the super ships and you're not dealing with the long-range campy meta we find in random battles. So with this game, we end up with 247,000 damage in a very quick match too. It really didn't take that long. And of course, top XP because we did a lot of work holding back the enemy team. I think it may seem like I'm overhyping this game mode, but I really do think it's that good. I've just been having a ton of fun brawling it out and playing some ships that I normally would be hesitant to in random battles because they struggle so much in the current meta. As far as my build on the Ohio, it's pretty standard. I think fire prevention could be useful as well, but with my playstyle and the way I like to have an escape route if I do get lit on multiple fires after using my damage control, I usually try and get out of those situations using that pre-planned escape route. So I take Emergency Repair Expert. The faster cooldown on the heals is quite nice to have. I'm not saying Ohio is bad in random battles at all. It's really good there as well, but I've been playing ships like the Kurfürst, the Preußen, that kind of thing, and having a lot of fun in those as well. I definitely recommend giving them a shot. Ohio is just so special because you get to maximize your accuracy as well as your secondaries without really compromising on either, since the secondaries are always in slot 3, and unlike other nations, accuracy actually ends up in slot 6. So this is what I'm running right now, and I'm having a ton of fun. I definitely recommend giving this game mode a shot in a brawling battleship. because I've been having a ton of fun in it, and I hope you do too. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.